What's up? Hi, I'm Bubbles, and today I wanted to talk about, you know, identity, my identity, and just being myself, and the struggles that, everyone has, with identity and I don't know, just what I have had and what I think about it, I'm just gonna yap, really. Just gonna yap about identity. I mean, there's already some conflicting things. We'll get into it. So yeah, let's talk. Okay. So, I mean, I guess you can kind of start this out with like growing up, right? Like growing up, I, you know, I wouldn't say I wasn't. It was always kind of in the back of my mind that I was kind of introverted, right? And I rathered kind of to be more solitary, but I also don't. It really depends, I think. I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing, right? But yeah, when I was young growing up, right? I think I was pretty sociable. I mean, I think most kids are, but I was pretty, social and whatever, as most people are, I think. I just said that, I'm repeating myself. But you know, um it was all really good, right? Like you kind of just do what you see your parents do or what other kids around you are doing, right? So it's like, I don't it's nothing crazy, but it's like once you become aware and start thinking, once I became aware of like myself and started thinking, I've always been, I mean, different. I mean, I'm sitting in VR chat right now talking to a camera and I'm gonna post it on YouTube, but yeah, so like, I think I am I'm different, but everyone's different, right? So it's like once I started gaining my gaining my consciousness, I became a lot more of who I am now, but it was still I don't know, it was still very like just I was just me, you know? I like no excuses. I hadn't developed being worried about, you know, how I appeared to people, right? And I think as everyone gets older, especially in this generation, right, with the internet, like you get exposed to such a younger age to people who are better than you, people who are worse than you, whatever it is, it's all very out there. Like everywhere you look now. I mean, look, I'm able to just sit in my room and make little videos, you know? I make music, I stream, it's very, you know? The internet has completely changed things. And I'm not the first generation to be experiencing this, right? I'm 19. I'm not as old as the internet, right? But it's like just it's a new unprecedented time, you know? So I think from a very young age, it was mostly in like gaming and also sports because I was super into soccer growing up. Um, but it was also like I never really fit into I never really fit into the societal, you know, oh, manly, I didn't. And, I was always like, growing up, I wanted to paint my nails. I I didn't necessarily think I mean, I thought makeup was cool, but I didn't want to do it necessarily, I don't think, that I can remember. But what I'm saying is I wasn't as manly as a lot of people, as a lot of m men are, like, raised to be, like, I just wasn't. I was always different, and I liked sports, right? But I think that's just the competitive in me, and, like, I mean, I like being competitive. I'm gonna make a video about, like, my gaming aspirations, I think, but that's another story. I was super competitive, right? But I've always been smaller than everyone else. I'm skinny as hell. I am at like I mean not for guys, I don't think I'm an average height. I think I'm below average maybe. But I'm like an average height. I'm like 5'6", 5'7". But my controller is low, whatever. I I don't know, I never fit the archetype, right? And seeing all these I mean, my dad having all these other male influences in my life, I kind of forced myself into them. And don't get me wrong, like, I can totally enjoy, stuff that's manly, but it's like, I don't know. It's never been me. And that's kind of a weird thing to come to terms with and realize, right? Like, how I've been acting and kind of forcing myself to act. It doesn't make me happy. I don't feel comfortable, you know? And I'm only 19, right? I'm not super old. I just have a lot of time to think, you know? And I think a lot. Um, if you can tell. But, I just, I do, I do find myself liking and, what's it called? Not empathizing. I more connect with, like socially feminine things, right? And I think that's okay, right? That's not it was just something within me because I grew up on another video idea, religion, I grew up religious and then I kind of got out of that like just thinking like I have total respect for people who can believe, right? I will never be against that, but to me I just couldn't believe that like, there was, a whole big guy in the sky. You know what I'm saying? So getting out of the religious, very like sheltered, oh, man do man thing, girl do girl thing, men like girl like men, that kind of thing. Getting out of that cycle, it really like opened my eyes. I was like, oh my god, like these things that I would just like push down and be like, this is not for me, right? I can't do this thing I want to do because of how I was born. And that sucks, But also it's like society, It's how it is and it sucks. And I think, there's a conversation that can definitely be had about, wanting to change that stuff, change the world for the better. Everyone be more loving and accepting, but I'm getting off on a tangent, but that's what these videos are, and that's okay. So yeah, back on topic. Once I hit it was also weird growing up, like all the way up through elementary school. I didn't really have friends, like I did, but not actual friends, you know? Once I hit middle school, like 5th grade, middle school, I started getting, like, I think I would say real friends, which now a lot of them are horrible. Um, they're just not nice people. But, you know, maybe that's a story for another time about how my friend group blew up. That would be interesting. I don't know how interesting. You know what? Okay, let's go. So, once I got to middle school and I started getting friends, like actual friends, um, you know, I quit soccer, like probably 7th or 8th grade because I was too small. Like, and I could, try to work out and work on it. And there are plenty of small, awesome soccer players. But the only thing I ever had going for me is I could run fast. You know, I had no power in my kicks. I wasn't, I could just run. I could run. That was it. So I kind of, I quit soccer. And my whole life I've been gaming and doing artistic kind of things. Once I got into middle school, I was able to join band, and that was awesome. You know, I really found my love in music. I mean, I remember growing up, I got like a little MP3 player that literally only had like Linkin Park and Papa Roach on it, which is, but I loved being able to just listen to music all the time, and I do it all the time now. I can't do anything without listening to music. I make music. My whole life is music, right? Now, I think that's definitely a topic for another video. I definitely want to talk about that. But, I just found myself identifying more with these things that they're not masculine or feminine, right? Gaming, I don't know. I just found myself not fully identifying with the things that were super hyper masculine, like sports and hunting and, cars, cars are cool as hell, cars are cool. I want to get into motorcycles, but like growing up, I wasn't super into that like my dad was, and then my stepbrother was, right? And I just never felt like I fully connected and fit in with the men in my life, and I think that's kind of telling about my identity, but I don't know yet. I haven't figured it out. But I mean, the way I'm presenting myself right now, right? You see this? How I've been presenting myself? How I have for years has always been more feminine, for sure. And even like the way I talk is a bit, it's not, I don't know. I don't think there's a masculine or feminine way to talk, like actually. But I think, I don't know. I'm a lot more comfortable. I feel like me right now, And that's insane because I'm in a video game. I'm in a VR headset sitting on the fucking ground in my room, looking at a camera, recording, and yapping. That's kind of insane, to think about. And there are a lot of weird, cringe people on this game, but it makes me feel like me. I can sit here and be what I would be most comfortable as. But it's not like I am super uncomfortable being male as I am in real life, right? And maybe that's cope. Maybe it's cope. I don't know. But, I think I'm just trying to be me, be myself, really take those, those elementary school be yourself posters and really, really embody that. Be me, be myself unapologetically, because I'm not hurting anyone by sitting here in this avatar that feels like me and talking to YouTube, I'm not hurting anyone by doing that, I don't think. I need to be more me, be more myself. I think everyone could do with a lot more with that. Like, that goes with, I think, I've been doing a lot of research on religious stuff recently. And that just comes to mind because I think I definitely want to make a video about that. And that just comes to mind because, like, it is so normalized in society and religion and, I mean, anything, all of life. It's so normalized to, like, be put in a box and put yourself in a box and be, you know, normal, all, you know, straight tie, straight jacket, be the, I don't know, the American dream. I don't know. You know what I'm saying though. Like, it's so normalized to be like, it's like afraid of being yourself. And I definitely have fallen into that for a long time and continue to. And I'm trying to break free of that, just be me. But a huge point of contention with that, of being me unapologetically, is that I will probably lose a lot of people that I care about, where it's like, it still, I don't think, should stop me from being me, right? I shouldn't live with regret because I want to, please my family or people that I care about, like I care about their opinion. But I just completely lost everything I was saying. Shit, man. Oh, okay. So you know, it's hard to be yourself and explore yourself, right? Like, that sounds kind of weird, but I okay. I mean, we'll just come out with it, right? I mean, look at me. I'm probably not super, normal cis gendered, I and it's been an insane journey coming to terms with that and trying to understand how I feel. Um and I'm terrified that, you know, I will lose, you know, everyone I care about because I'm not what they expect me to be or what they think I am, or, and you shouldn't let that, damn, I look sad as hell. Okay, I shouldn't let that stop me from being me, as I said, right? But it's very scary. It's very nerve-wracking. It's very like, I've only lived 19 la- ni- I've only lived 19 years, right? And I've been with my family through that all, and my friends. And they've always known me, as who they think I am, right? And I don't think that's who I am. I, it's so hard to, like, vocalize that. It's very like, I think I am I mean, I'm not coming out, right? I'm still figuring it out. Still on my journey to self self discovery. That's what I was trying to say. But I'm definitely not. I mean, if nothing else, I'm a feminine guy, right? But really, I'm just me, and that is the point I'm trying to drive home here. Okay, I think I'm kind of like I'm kind of everywhere right now, but I'm low on sleep. I, you know, I wanted to yap about it, right? Um, but yeah, I think discovering myself has been really interesting. And I mean, it's been really scary, but also like so like joy inducing. I don't, that's a good term to use. I don't know, but like I've done more. I can't like I can't be. I mean, it's like what they say like the egg or whatever is cracking. Whatever they're saying, whatever they say, right? I've done a lot of things to discover what I want and what I like, you know? And most cis, like, average people don't even ever question. And the fact that I've questioned my whole life and I've explored things, like clothes, I'm growing my hair out, I've explored, messing with my voice. I can. I mean, come on. Let's be real here. I'm not a super manly man. If yeah, I if you couldn't tell. Um but it's terrifying because what if I lose my family? What if I lose everyone, I don't think I would necessarily, but I also do think I would, It's very I don't know, like it's scary. Like the only and I don't know. My identity is still very. I mean, it's being learned. I'm figuring it out slowly, as most people do, right? But I don't know. I've just been trying to be myself more unapologetically. Like I've grown so much. I've come out of my shell so much in like the past 4 years. Like I wouldn't even dream of like I don't know, even doing anything like this. And this is not, you know, I'm terrified of my family finding this and them hating me because of what their religious text tells them to think and believe, or what their political views tell them to think when it's their own child or their own sibling or their own friend who I feel like I can't explore me and be me truthfully because I'm so scared of losing them. And that sucks, that's not ideal, I would say. Not very ideal situation to be in. But, I think I understand. I just hope I hope that we can get like a better future, a better future where it's not all about hate. Because I'm like anyone else, I, you know, I'm not a I'm not insane or a demon for feeling like I just identify more with other things than what is expected of me, right? And it felt like we were making progress. I don't want to get too political, but we all know the state of the world right now. We are losing progress rapidly. We are devolving. And it's not even just in what I'm talking about. It is in rights in general. Like, just people. It's insane. It's insane. That's maybe a topic for another video, but that might be too hot topic for me. Too much of a hot button issue for me. I don't know. We'll see. But, I want to be able to live and be myself without fear. Like, it's not even fear of judgment anymore. It's literally fear of my livelihood, my life. And it is so horrible that so many people feel that. And I'm not even like, I haven't even made a decision yet. I'm just exploring, the fact that I might be a girl, which is insane to think about and say out loud. But, like, I'm not even going through that. I'm not even doing that. I still appear completely passable male for society. And the fact that people have to fear for their lives and it's horrible. Whether you agree or even like vibe with or fuck with being trans or gay or just different than the social norm. If that's not your thing, cool. I respect that. It shouldn't be a thing where they are persecuted. And that's literally, I don't want to say it's the same thing. But the comparison, right, of, like the Holocaust, people were just persecuted for who they were, right? And it's not happening in the same degree as the Holocaust. That was insane, right? I'm not claiming that. But, like, holy shit. We are repeating history. Whether it'll happen or not, right? Like, we are just so... I mean, this might get into philosophy. I don't fucking know. I'm so interested in philosophy and how the human brain works, like psychology and philosophy. But, like, why are we, as humans, so, like... I don't know if it's societal or if it's, like, instinctual. We are so quick to hate or persecute or, just be against, and we're not open-minded. We are so against anything that differs from our norm. And I think that is insane. Like, I have made it like my life's goal, which maybe it's a weird-ass goal. Maybe I'm weird. But I like being open-minded and hearing all the sides, right? And I'll hear anything out, usually, right? Unless it's absolutely diabolical. But I'll hear anything out, and I will try to give, benefit of the doubt to people and, why they might feel the way they do. Because people feel the way they do for reasons, and I want to know those reasons. I want to understand, I'm not a super confrontational person, I do it for the love of the game, I I love talking about beliefs and stuff. Oh my god, idea. What if I could have like a one-on-one talk with someone? Oh, like we could like debate or like talk about, oh my god, new ideas are flooding in. Okay, sorry. But yeah, no, like it's so insane to me how closed-minded people are. And I mean, just wrapping that back to the main topic of this video, right? I think I'm terrified to be myself and actually explore my identity and figure out what will make me the most comfortable and happy I can be in my life because of closed-mindedness and just hate for no reason. It's unwarranted. Like, there are bad people in every group of everything ever. And it's insane to claim that because there are some bad, trans, gay, straight, religious people, that makes those things inherently bad, right? Like, I'm not religious myself, and yes, there are a lot of crazy religious things that I don't agree with, but it doesn't make religion inherently bad, right? It is bad people turning this thing into something bad. And I think we need to give more grace. And I mean, it's literally just common sense. Like, I don't know how that doesn't clock to people that there are just bad people, right? It doesn't matter what group they fall into, whatever it is, they're just not a good person. That doesn't make their group or their thing or their hobby or whatever, it doesn't make that inherently bad or evil or vice versa. It doesn't make it inherently good or amazing or, if there's good people who do these things, it doesn't make that good automatically, It's not like commutative. Is that the word? I think that's like a multiplication term or like a math term. Commutative? I don't know. It doesn't, because this equals this. No. Because this does not mean this equals this, Like, it's the A plus B does not equals whatever the fuck I'm saying. You know what I'm saying, right? It's so close-minded and just you're not thinking. Like, no one's thinking. Like, I don't understand. Like, why are we not thinking, guys? Like, what are we doing? I don't know. It's crazy to me. And that is why I am so scared to be me. Because people don't think, we have no common sense, which sounds insane to me. It sounds like I'm like one of those boomers that's like, oh, kids these days are crazy. Kids these days, whatever the fuck. But it's true. And I understand why people think that when they get older and, have more experiences, because people are so close-minded. We are so set in these parameters that we have had constructed, whether that's through, religious texts or government bodies or societal standards, whatever it is. We are so set in these things, and I'm getting so, like, into this right now, but I'm kind of here for it, so, I... It's just crazy. I want to be me without fear for my life, and I want the same for anyone else. Regardless of if I agree what you do with your life. You deserve the freedom to be you and not have your rights taken away because this group doesn't agree with that. And vice versa, anything, We are literally on a floating rock in space. We live for I don't know what's the average, 60 to 100 years is the average lifespan. And in terms of how long everything's been around and how much longer everything will probably be around, we are so small and tiny, and we do not matter. So be yourself. Be as comfortable as you can. Have as good of a life as you can, right? We do not matter. We do not need to be getting on these high horses, playing God, being like, my views and my outlooks need to be spread on everything, spread on every other human being. Like, what gives you the right to be like, you know, oh, I don't like this group. No. Especially if they're not hurting people, you know? Okay, like, now that sounds kind of like I'm advocating for, like, you could turn around and be like, oh, what about, like, pedophiles, you know? What about pedophiles? Should we just let them, be themselves and, keep doing what they're doing because, whatever? But they're hurting people. They are hurting children by doing the things they do, right? That is different. Me existing is not hurting anyone. And if it is, that's insane. How? Like, I don't know. I guess it's a hard, like, I can see the arguments that you could come at me with, right? Where it's like, well, your existence actually does harm me. But it's like, I could be like, how? And you could give me a reason, right? And it's just like, what do I do with that information? Because obviously I'm not hurting anyone, right? What, me talking on YouTube, me existing, me growing my hair out, doing whatever I want to do, however I want to possibly identify in the future, however I want to dress, however I want to present myself. That's not hurting no one. Now, if I'm like, I don't know. I guess it's a really weird thing. I don't know. I'm not really a debater, but I would love to, I don't know, talk. Like, I want to talk to someone, but civilly. I want to have a civil conversation about someone who doesn't agree with, I don't want to say my existence because I'm not like out or decided yet, but I mean, come on. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I do think it would be interesting. I am all for intellectual conversation, right? I just understanding and hearing anything out, whatever, I don't know. That is a good new idea though. Like, have guests. Like, I could get my friends on and we could just sit and talk about, whatever the fuck. That would be fun. I might have to do that. Can't lie. How long have I been recording? 40 minutes. 40 minutes is kind of wild, no? Wow, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I yapped a lot. It's been 40 minutes. I don't know how long this video will be. I just wanted to kind of talk about that. I kind of ranted into, psychology, philosophy a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little tiny bit, nothing too crazy. I just, it's been a struggle. It's been a challenge to come to terms with my identity and learn it, and learn to be myself. And, I still have a lot left to do and learn and just, be myself. But that's how it be. I don't know. I think, not that I have to tell you or anyone else, my identity right now is me. I, like, on the down low, definitely exploring, potential, I might be a girl, But, I digress. I'm me. I'm trying to be myself. We should all be ourselves. We should all, not be so judgy and mean and horrible to people who are not like ourselves, that are unlike me, that are unlike you. We need to be better. We need to be better. Plain and simple, honestly, if you think about it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just being me. And we'll see where it takes me. And yeah, I guess that'll be about it, huh? Thanks for watching. I appreciate. I'm just yapping. If anyone's watching this and actually enjoying, or maybe you're agreeing or disagreeing, that's awesome. That is what I'm doing this for. Just getting my thoughts out for the sake of it, sake of conversation, sake of human thought. So yeah, thanks for watching. Stay safe, World's crazy. It's insane, It's so insane. I love you. And yeah, that's about it. See ya.